the last 2 decades, the Center for Heirs Property Preservation has been dedicated to protecting and ensuring its sustainability for years of economic prosperity. Let's welcome Brett Wadford, Chief Partnerships Officer, and Nulani Bennett, Director of Development. Glad to have you both with us.
Thank you.
The subject of heirs property is really fascinating. You've been at this now for 20 years. So why was this organization, first of all, established, and what have you accomplished within these last 2 decades?
Sure. So in the early days, fast back to early 2000s, we actually started as a program with the Coastal Community Foundation because community leaders were kept hearing about an issue called heirs property. And they wanted to find ways to address the issue and help these families that have it. So the Community Foundation created the program, and then fast forward to 2005, we became a standalone because the reality was that more time needed to be devoted to heirs property and helping families.
Yeah.
So hence that's how we got started with our history.
Yeah, and Nulani, can you walk us through kind of the process of what establishing heirs property title looks like?
Yes, so first and foremost, just to even give you a definition of what heirs property is,
Please,
right?
yeah.
Heirs property is actually property that has been passed down from generation to generation without a will. So it is just someone saying, you know, I passed away and I'm now giving it to my children, but there has not been an official will. So that continues on, going on and on. So the biggest thing about that is we have to make sure that we can stop that transition piece. So we have to get all of the heirs that are involved with the property. That is our first step, and that is actually through our attorneys. So we have attorneys that are on staff, and they actually walk our families through the entire process from start to finish. And even unfortunately, sometimes there are times that they cannot assist the family any further, right? Because the family has to come to an agreement, right? So unfortunately, if they're not able to assist them, they are able to give them other resources that they can continue to go on and use to try to get some resolution with their heirs property.
It sounds like it's a bit of a complicated process, that especially if you have a large family,
Yes.
that could definitely add some complication to it. How long does this process usually take?
So it is really dependent on the number of heirs involved or the number of family members. As Nulani was referencing, it could be maybe 1 generation, could be 5. So that really can determine the length of time it may take to resolve the case. Because one important aspect of it is identifying all of those heirs.
Yeah.
And we know that family moves away, right? So it's identifying all those heirs that may not live within the state as well.
Yeah. And I would think, though, that there's a lot of development that's going on here in South Carolina, and typically when heirs property preservation is contacted, is this when someone has been approached by, say, a developer, wants to sell? What is sort of the impetus for kind of figuring all this out?
So there's a lot. It could be that the family is wanting to resolve their heirs property themselves. They just know that they're in heirs property and they know that it's not a healthy or a safe situation to always be in. Sometimes it could be because a developer may have, you know, came to a family member, an heir, and an heir then told the rest of the family, and then the rest of the family was like, wait, we have to do something about it. So it's so many different opportunities and options of why people actually end up coming to us.
What we discussed before we got started, it sounds like heirs property is predominantly kind of an Eastern Seaboard issue. The farther you get out west, it doesn't seem like there's quite as many issues. The newer, the pioneers in establishing those states and cities. So we see that typically within the Southeast, but also along Appalachia and a bit farther to the north. Education, you say, is a barrier. So when you don't know what you don't know, how do people know to come to you to start asking the questions?
Right. Well, so as Nulani mentioned, we work a lot in communities doing a lot of outreach. And what that outreach entails also is conducting these educational seminars in the communities, letting folks know what heirs property is, dispelling some myths that might be there with heirs property, like if I'm paying taxes on the land, everything's fine. We know, unfortunately, that's not the case. because there's no clear title on the land. So it's kind of through those educational seminars that folks learn of Heirs Property, maybe learn about us and how we can help them.
Yeah.
So they will come to us afterwards, after those
Mm-hmm.
seminars, or maybe referral from other families we've helped as well.
Okay, well, you're celebrating 20 years
Yes.
of doing
Yes.
this for families, and
Yes.
hopefully
Yes.
120 more.
Yes.
So you've got a big event coming up at the Gaillard Center. So tell us more about what's going on.
So we do. We have our 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
It is our gala anniversary. It's
Great.
also called Rooted in Legacy. It will be on June 20th at the Gaillard. It will start at 6 p.m. is our cocktail silent auction time.
Great.
So if you are looking for any great things, please come to our gala, and you can actually bid on them from our 6 to 7 time frame, and then 7 is when our evening will start.
So you are a nonprofit, so you are
Yes.
funded a lot by donations.
Yes, we are.
And Chuck Lavelle of the Rolling Stones is going to be there. So
Yes.
I mean, that's a really interesting
Yes.
combination that you created there.
Right.
But it's going to be a really fun evening. So I appreciate you coming in and sharing with us. And for anybody who wants any more information, we're going to direct you to their website to get all of that. Get your property squared away. Thank you
Yes.
both so
Thank you
much
so
for joining
much.
us. Yeah,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your time. We'll be back after this.